All right, welcome back the Midlife Pilot YouTube channel and another Alphabet Challenge flight tonight with PilotEdge live air traffic control. We are at Riverside Airport in California, and tonight's flight is super easy. We are taking a short hop down to San Diego International. It's a 75 nautical mile jaunt. Southbound and then along the shore and into San Diego's Class Bravo. A couple cool things I want to point out tonight that are different. I'm using the X-Plane 11.50 Beta 4. The graphics rendering performance is significantly improved over previous versions of 11, at least on my workstation. So I'm also using a couple things that are different as well I wanted to tell you about. First of all, the airplane that I'm flying is the stock 172 that comes with X-Plane. However, I've added the what is it called? The Realism Expansion Pack, I believe. And I'll put a link to that in the description. It adds a bunch of cool features, not the least of which is in the flight characteristics of the airplane, making it more realistic in terms of the flight characteristics of a real 172. So there's a couple things. First thing we need to do is on our walk around here, we have to undo the tie downs before it'll let us do anything. We have to remove the chocks as well. So we'll take the tie downs off, take the chocks out, take the engine cowling cover out. I have to remove the pitot tube cover and the other tie down and the other chock. And then once we're inside the plane here, let's go ahead and configure our weight and balance. That all seems reasonable. I've already flight planned this flight. It's going to require 6.6 gallons of fuel, so we'll call that 7, and then we'll carry an additional at least 10 gallons normally, so we'll just go 10 gallons per side for a total of 20 gallons. Will be plenty of fuel for this flight. The flight is approximately 45 minutes. And we'll say 8.5 gallons. Let's say 8 gallons per hour. All right. So we've loaded our fuel. Now we can go ahead and our engine start checklist. We can pull that up here and let me check one more thing. I've got a little utility running here for remote flight. So that I have another iPad that I use for my radios. Okay. Brakes. Let's make sure the parking brake is set. And it is. Fuel selector, which is down here in the bottom. We'll move to both. Fuel shutoff valve is in. Circuit breakers are in and set. Avionics switch is off. We'll go ahead and turn the master battery on. We'll open the throttle 1/4 of an inch. The engine is cold, so what we'll do is turn the boost pump on for a second and move the fuel gauge forward till we get a little bit of fuel flow, and then back it back off and kill the aux pump. And then we'll engage the starter and move the mixture to rich, and we should start up here. We may have flooded it. Yep. There we go. Back to 1,000 RPM. Alternator comes on. We'll keep an eye over here to make sure we've got good oil pressure, which we do. And we can turn the other switches on at this point. Mixture was rich and now we've leaned. Oil pressure is good. Flaps are up. Avionics are on, and we'll set our flight instruments here. So let's first adjust our artificial horizon so that from our eye level it is level. Let's adjust the DG to be in line with the magnetic compass, which is pretty much due east. Whoops. All right. And we'll turn the other avionics bus on, and we'll squawk 1200 before we connect to PilotEdge. Squawking 1200 in altitude mode. So let's go ahead and connect to PilotEdge.
Connected to PilotEdge.
All right, we're connected. Now would be a good time to go ahead and dial up some frequencies.
10 uniform, state location. 10 uniform, Golf and Alpha.
Let's turn him off for a second. So 128.8 is ATIS. After we get the weather, we will need clearance delivery. Actually, we don't. We'll call them in the air. .4 will be our approach frequency, who we'll call as soon as we depart to pick up flight following. We want to be talking to these folks on our way down. So 135.4 we'll put in standby. I'm doing this on an iPad app outside of here, but if you can see my comm radios here, I'm dialing in these frequencies in the standby, so I'm making the bottom one there 135.4. And then the next thing we'll need will be ground 121.7, which I'll put in standby on COM 2, 121.7. And Riverside Tower is 121.0. So up here in COM 1, we'll go to 121.0. All right, so first let's listen to COM 2 and pick up our weather.
Riverside Municipal Airport, ATIS information Bravo, 00530, wind 250 at 11, visibility 10, ceiling 4000 broken, temperature 18, 2.9er, altimeter 299er, arriving and departing runway 27, RNAV runway 27 approach in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
All right, we have Bravo. We're going to get the winds in the beginning of it that we missed.
Riverside Municipal Airport, ATIS information Bravo, 00530, wind 250 at 11, visibility 10, ceiling 4000 broken, temperature 18, 2.9er, altimeter 299er, arriving and departing runway 27, RNAV runway 27 approach in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
All right, we have Bravo.
The flight for 102, 2500, 8 miles southwest. Walker 169, inbound with Bravo. I have a flight following but cannot cancel with approach. Walker 169, say again, you're blocked. Walker 169, roger. Flight for 102, Bakersfield Tower, unable for the rating. For the rating. You descended to 2,000 feet into the mountains, and that's the opposite of what you should do when you're under flight following. Enter left base, runway 30 right, clear land.
Let's go ahead and set up our autopilot. I think we're 5,500.
Yeah, we're diving out. Sports 27. Okay, roger. 54102 second. I started descending up to the mountains. It was on flat land. 54102, yes, and then you're going to lose radio communications when you descend into the mountains. That's how it works. The lower you are, you can't hear you.
115.3
to maintain 4,000, expedite.
will be our first VOR waypoint along the route of flight.
Ground, Bonanza 6233 Golf, Northwest Ram, taxi Zulu.
And then Mission Bay VOR will be 117.8.
Northwest Ramp, taxi with Zulu.
30 Golf, runway 27 right, taxi via Delta.
Going to 27 via Delta 6233 Golf.
Let's go ahead and program our flight plan.
Here 7436 Romeo Limit Tower, runway 27, clear to land. Clear to land, 27.
Port ground, Skyhawk 75222 at the south ramp. Request taxi to be active with uniform.
75232, Fulton ground, runway 24, taxi via Alpha.
Taxi runway 24 V taxiway Alpha, Skyhawk 75222.
Los Angeles Tower, 99025 right, ready for departure.
And then the MZB.
30 Charlie Sierra Alpha, Tower 25 right, cliff take off. Clear for takeoff, right, 30 Charlie Sierra.
Mission Bay VOR.
201 Tango Charlie, taxi parking via Alpha Passenger Cat.
Then KSAN. For San Diego.
201 Tango Charlie, could you repeat it? I only heard Alpha, you broke up. 1 Tango Charlie, taxi parking via Alpha Passenger Cat 4.
All right.
Taxi via Alpha. 1 Tango Charlie, thank you. Thank you. 2 Falcon Mike traffic, 1 o'clock, 3 miles opposite direction.
All right, 166 is the heading on departure. So we'll go ahead and put our heading bug on 166.
Tower, 362 Sierra, holding short of 30 at Alpha 8, VFR departure to the 362 Sierra, San Rafael, runway 30, cliff takeoff. Clear for takeoff, runway 30, runway 20.
Number 126 Alpha, are you waiting on something at the moment? I think I stepped on someone. Number 26 Alpha at Grand Canyon, are you waiting on something?
San Luis Tower, Skyhawk 7010 uniform, holding short, 29.
So we'll call ground here.
Departure VFR has information Tango.
November Charlie Sierra, come to departure.
Over to departure, over, sir.
November 7710 uniform, San Luis Tower, side direction of flight.
10 uniform would like to depart to the south.
And 10 uniform, make down departure runway 29 at cliff take.
Clear for takeoff, 29er. 10 uniform.
Number 10, left downwind departure. November 10 uniform, third time, make left downwind departure from runway 29.
Roger, left downwind departure.
Riverside ground, Skyhawk 3852 Lima at the ramp with information Bravo. I'd like to taxi VFR southbound departure.
Number 385 Lima, Riverside ground, runway 27 taxi via Golf Alpha Charlie.
Runway 27 via Golf Alpha Charlie 3852 Lima. So he says Golf Alpha Charlie. So we'll turn right here.
San Diego, clearance delivery, United 990 IFR to San Francisco.
And we'll come on down here to Golf.
United 990 Lindbergh clearance, clear to San Francisco Airport, Padres 2 departure, EK transition, then as filed. Stand by 1 second. climb via departure frequency 119.6, squawk 453.
Here is taxiway Golf on our left.
Clear to San Francisco via the Padre 7 IK departure.
And
Then
then
as filed.
a right onto
Departure
Alpha.
frequency is 119.6, and you were cut out on your transponder.
United 990, climb via SID, squawk 4553, and the routing is Padres 2 departure, EK transition.
Padres 2 departure, EK transition.
All right, so one of the most amazing things about this beta is the performance of the frame rate and just how good it looks.
Sun Country 9935, Burbank clearance, good to Las Vegas, McCarran Airport, Van Nuys 3 departure, Palmdale transition, then as filed. Maintain 4000, departure frequency 134.2, squawk
Oh,
6773.
Looking at my iPad while taxiing, always dangerous. All right, so Golf Alpha Charlie was our instruction. We can switch over to tower now on comm 1. All right, before takeoff checks.
November 362, Santa Barbara, did you have a request?
Here's a little hold pad. I do like that there are hold pads at a lot of these airports where we can actually get turned around and take a moment to do a quick run-up. Flight controls are free and correct. Fuel selector, verify, but it is on both. Flight instruments are set. We've got our heading indicator. Altimeter checks.
6233 Golf, ready 27 IFR.
We'll go Rich here on the mixture. We'll go ahead and throttle up to 1800 and do a quick mag check before we go.
November 6233 Golf.
There is 1800. Left mags, good drop, back to both.
Right, clear for takeoff, 6233 Golf.
Right mag looks good, back to both. We've got positive power on the ammeter, barely. Suction is in the green. We checked our magnetos. Here's an idle check. We'll pull the throttle all the way back to idle. Make sure it still runs. It does. We'll go ahead and lean out just for a second while we're still on the ground. Trim is set for takeoff. Flaps are verified up. Radios are set. We've got tower, and then we have SoCal departure on our swap. So we're ready. So at this point, we'll close our checklist. Lights are as required. Strobe, nav, landing light is on. Transponder's on. Squawk and altitude. We'll climb out at 79 knots.
9,000, 26 Alpha.
Number 26 Alpha, are you familiar with the rules regarding VFR cruising altitudes?
4 to Tower, Skyhawk 75222 at runway 24, ready to take off VFR.
75232 Fulton Tower, runway 24, clear for takeoff.
We'll go ahead and set our OBS while we're waiting for get a word in here.
232.
Van Nuys Tower, Vision Jet 54678, holding short 16 right at Charlie, ready for our departure.
The 54678, Tower, runway 16 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 16 right, 678.
Riverside Tower, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, holding short runway 27, ready to go VFR southbound.
Good trip, 52 Liver, Riverside Tower, make left crosswind departure, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
We'll make a left crosswind departure and clear for takeoff, runway 27, 3852 Lima. All right, mixture's rich, flaps are set, trim is set for takeoff. We'll verify we're on the right runway here. There's runway 27. I see 27. Compass.
Not on these higher altitudes.
Compass. All right. Full power. Power's coming in. Right rudder. Airspeed is alive. There
I would
is
just do a quick search on
40.
VFR cruising altitude when you can. I'd suggest
55
85
rotate.
direction of flight.
Hello,
When you get to
hello.
the higher altitude.
And
Okay.
a little more right rudder.
26 Alpha.
Not quite used to the new airplane that actually responds correctly like a Cessna. You have to actually put some significant rudder in. Alright, there is our climb out. And here very shortly, when we get about 500 to 700 feet above ground or so,
Skyhawk 201 Tango Charlie with a request.
we'll make a left-hand turn out.
1 Tango Charlie. Center.
Yeah, I just finished my Cat 4. Just wanted to check in on that, if I passed.
And 1 Tango Charlie, thanks for checking in. It was a pass with a Cat 4.
Let's make a left crosswind
Thank
departure.
you. How long does that update on the screen?
I just submitted it right this second, so if you refresh it, it should show.
I got it. Thanks. Have a night. 1 Tango Charlie.
678 contact SoCal departure.
Contact departure. Good night. 678.
So now I'm looking
63 Delta, I have reason to believe that's you trying to talk. Your mic is muted.
I'm looking to align my top DG here, or my top
Still muted.
VOR to see this needle come in. So I'm flying left of my on-course heading of 166 until that comes in, and then I'll fly the on-course heading. Or I could just adjust my OBS ring here to be on course and say I need to fly 155 heading, then adjust my heading bug and fly heading of 155 and be on course. And then once I leave the Delta airspace, I'll make a call to SoCal departure. And we will set up flight following with them. Everything looks good. Engine instruments in the green. We're trimmed up here for our climb. We are direct Oceanside VOR. We're climbing to 5,000.
Ground over 126
500.
Alpha, South GA parking, looking to taxi.
Number 26 Alpha, runway 21, taxi at Papa Papa.
Runway 21, taxi Papa Bravo, 26 Alpha.
And I'm gonna, as soon as I clear the Delta, I'm actually clear of it now by altitude. It's only to 2,700 feet, so I'm gonna swap over to SoCal.
Jet 54678 may have misfiled.
54678, you filed as an Eclipse. Are you an Eclipse 500 or a Cirrus 50?
I'm a Vision Jet, which is EA 50 on the code, I believe.
Negative, Standard 54678. Are you a Cirrus 50 jet, a Cirrus jet, which is also known as Cirrus Vision, or are you an Eclipse
Landing lights off.
500 jet?
Yes, Eclipse Vision Jet 550 678.
54678, an Eclipse is not a Vision jet. It's just an Eclipse. Eclipse 678 is an EA50. It's not made by Cirrus. It's manufactured by Eclipse. The Cirrus is the Cirrus Vision. That's manufactured by Cirrus. The model name is Vision. So if you're an Eclipse, if you're manufactured by Eclipse, then you're just an Eclipse 500.
Thank you, we got all that. 678, thank you.
54678, roger. Sierra Romeo, clear direct, Lucid, cross Lucid, 4000, clear on that runway 30.
2 is 5 miles north of Fullerton at 2000. Request VFR flight following to Camarillo.
Alright, Sierra Romeo, clear direct, Lucid, cross Lucid, 2000, cleared on that runway 30 approach. Maintain 2000 to Lucid,
They
clear
are
on
incredibly busy.
30 approach, 8 Sierra Romeo. VFR aircraft, stay call sign.
Skyhawk 5222.
Two 52332.
7532. Skyhawk 75232, request VFR flight following to Camarillo.
75232, stand by. 362 Zulu Sierra, contact Los Angeles Center 135.5.
135.5, thank you.
I'm going to have to get a hold of SoCal here pretty soon.
54678, resume normal speed, contact Los Angeles Center 133.2.
133.2, resume normal speed, 678.
SoCal, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, VFR request.
Stand by for VFR request. 3 Mike Echo, did you say you had the airport? Disregard, you want the RNAV, never mind. No, I can get you in there, stand by.
They're pretty busy. Look at the scenery, though.
Yeah, I Los Angeles Center, descend via Lucky 1 arrival. Post 54678, Los Angeles Center, climb maintain, follow 230.
All right, 500 feet to go to our cruising altitude. Engine still looks good.
3 Mike Echo, turn right heading 070.
We'll see if he remembered that he had somebody with a VFR request.
3 Mike Echo, clear direct Bulgy, cross Bulgy at 8,004 above, cleared RNAV runway 26 approach.
I'm just dialing up my second VOR there. 200 feet to go to our cruising altitude.
Please confirm the frequency for 362
Yeah, and at 1180 Los Angeles Center, across 80 at maintain level 240.
All right. And we're going to run 2450 RPM.
Here, your microphone is pretty bad. I can barely understand you. Say again.
Please confirm the frequency to the hand of 36200.
36200. 135.5. Just go to 118.8. Baker Street approach. 1880.
All right. Let's go ahead and turn on the autopilot.
1880.
Altitude and nav, which will oh hi. Let's 5,500 and altitude hold.
All right, your limit contact Long Beach Tower 119.4. Long Beach Tower 119.0 Romeo.
And we're going to once we get situated here, we'll lean. We need to try to get a hold of SoCal again.
Our 75232 SoCal First Squawk 7064 right now.
124.1. Oh boy.
7464. Skyhawk 332.
So, interesting about this. I haven't been abiding by VFR. Let's see if we can just get down a couple hundred feet here.
3620 Sierra. Biggest approach, altimeter 2996.
2996,
Anyway, the chart says contact
126 Alpha Los Angeles Center, right down.
SoCal approach 124.1.
There's 75232, the squawk code is 7064.
7064. Skyhawk 222, thank you.
VFR aircraft call again.
Skyhawk 3852 Lima with a request for flight following 5,500 to San Diego. We are 28 miles north of the Oceanside VOR.
352 Lima, SoCal approach, squawk 6245. And you can contact SoCal approach at Oceanside on 119.6. I'll get you set up.
All right, 6245 on the squawk and 119.6 for 52 Lima. Thanks.
75232, unable radar advisories at this time. Check back SoCal approach 134.2 in about 20 miles.
134.2, Skyhawk 222.
75232, that's in about 20 miles. Keep your squawk code and contact
All right,
them.
2450.
134.2 in about 20 miles.
134.2 at 20 miles. Skyhawk 222.
On the RPM here.
1728 X-ray, just confirm left side, runway 25 left.
25 left for 172.
We need to lean a little bit. We'll let's get a hold of
United 1180, contact Los Angeles Center 134.65. 54678, descend maintain 14,000, Bakersfield altimeter 2996.
Tell you what, we're gonna have to climb to get over these clouds. Let's do that, and then let's call SoCal. We're gonna climb to 7,500. SoCal approach Skyhawk 3852 Lima, climbing through 5,600 for 7,500.
352 Lima. SoCal approach, the instruction was to call over Oceanside. Yeah, 1180 Los Angeles Center across Fuzzy at maintain 16,000 Las Vegas altimeter 2981. Extra contact Los Angeles Tower 120.95.
Going to the tower 20.95, 728 X-ray.
So for the departure, Sun Center 9935, do 2,200 for 4,000 on head.
Was that just checked in?
Sun Center 9935, now 2,600 for 4,000.
Sun Country 9935, departure rate of contact, leaving 3,000, flighting 340, climb maintain 9,000.
Setting 340 to 9,000 for Sun Center 9935.
So I was supposed to wait until the Oceanside VOR to call is what happened there. I didn't understand the instruction. So we'll pitch down here for our climb just to improve that performance speed just a little bit. Climb at 200 feet per minute here. We're 400 feet to go. We are 19.4 miles from the Oceanside VOR. Once we level off, we'll set our DG and our compass again, make sure they still agree. You can see the Pacific Ocean in front of us. We'll fly this at 2,500 RPM. The higher altitude. 200 feet to go on our climb. And 16 miles to the Oceanside VOR. And we're almost to cruise, so we will...
Country 9935, climb maintain 14,000.
14,000, 9935.
54678, contact Vegas with approach 118.1. I'm sorry, 118.8.
We'll level off right here.
54678, correction, 118.8.
We will build up a little speed. Reduce the throttle.
Tower 362 Sierra, contact Vegas for tower 118.1, squawk via 4.
And then let's lean the mixture. We have 15 miles to our next thing, so we have time. So what we're watching here is the EGT gauge. That's the engine gas temperature. We're gonna pull the mixture control slowly out while we watch this climb. There, it's sinking, so we're trying to find the peak of that.
Say again for 678.
I think that is probably the peak, so now what we want to do is enrichen it to where we are 2 check marks below that, which is right in there somewhere, and that is set up for our cruise. So now let's work on aligning the compass and DG, because I think they're slightly off. So it looks like we are at about 160. Almost correct. Let's move our heading bug out of the way so we can see it. Am I in heading mode?
Contact SoCal approach 134.2 if you're still here.
134.2, diehard 232.
Nope, that was just random that it actually adjusted at that time. So our heading is now 170. So we need to adjust this just ever so slightly. And we need to be flying 52 Lima affirm.
52 Lima radar, contact 10 miles north of the ocean side of the OR, power altimeter 3002.
02 in position checks, 52 Lima, thanks.
Las Vegas approach, United 1180, 16,000 information hotel.
Yeah, 1180 Las Vegas approach, cross IPUMI 11,000 or above. Actually, cross IPUMI at 11,000.
Alright, I don't like what it's doing here, so we need to be about 16. Let's go 165
Cross IPUMI at 11,000, then maintain
on the heading. And I'm going to put this in heading mode, the GPS in heading mode instead of nav. I mean the autopilot in heading mode, and we're going to fly this more ourselves because I don't really trust
2533 Golf, contact SoCal approach 128.1.
what's happening here.
281 for 6233 Golf.
SoCal departure, United 990 through 2.6, climbing via descent.
Sun Country 9935, contact Los Angeles Center 125.27.
Center 125.27, 9935.
United 990, SoCal departure, ready contact.
Roger, United 990. LA approach, Bonanza 6233 Golf, 6,000.
Alright, frequency's congested if you're calling. That was two people at once. Sun Country 9935, Los Angeles Center, climb maintain follow 210. Other aircraft second.
Bonanza 6233 Golf, 6,000.
6233 Golf, SoCal approach. Downline altimeter 3001.
01, thanks.
Eclipse 678, descend and maintain 3,000. The airport is 11 o'clock, 14 miles, point tight.
Alright, we're 20 minutes from our destination. We can
3,000, we'll report.
We can probably get the weather at San Diego International, which is 134.8, so we'll put that in our COM 2.
SoCal approach. Cleared. To the 14 airport outbound, maintain
VFR departures, contact
4,000.
delivery. Advise on course heading.
Departure frequency 135.4, squawk 5320, hold release.
Back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Kilo.
Kilo.
San Diego International Lindbergh Field. 8 information Kilo. 00510. Wind 290 at 8. Visibility 10.
Mike Echo change to letter frequency approved for traffic cancellation of approach this frequency in the air or 122.2 on the ground.
Temperature 18. Dew point 12. Altimeter 3005. Arriving and parting runway 27.
Approach,
runway 27 approach in use. VFR departures, contact.
Looks like the MDA for this leg of the approach that we're on is 14,000, but you told me to cross IPUMI at 11,000. Am I not understanding it correctly? I'm sorry, I said approach, I mean arrival.
No, you're thinking of the, well, two things. One, you're thinking of the leg to ICRI, from Fuzzy to ICRI, and then it's 11 from ICRI to IPUMI. So you'll be crossing IPUMI there, but at that point you're on radar. If you lose comms, you got to climb above the MEA if you're below it. But from right there where you're at right now, you're at 12,000. You're already past ICRI, almost to IPUMI.
Okay, I see that. Thanks. Thanks.
Or 678, you have the airport 12 o'clock and 8 miles.
Alright, we got a left-hand turn to worry about coming up here.
We're looking a little bit hazy. We'll report 678.
Okay, airport inside 678. Eclipse 678 again.
Our left is going to be to
Airport
like
insight 678. Eclipse 678, clear visual approach, runway 30 right, contact Bakersfield Tower, 118.1. Cleared visual approach, 30 right, contact the tower, 118.1678.
like 150-ish heading.
United 990, contact Los Angeles Center, 128.6. 128.6, United 990. United 180, contact Los Angeles Center, 128.6.
All right, 1.5 miles roughly to
United
our,
180,
to our
Los
left-hand
Angeles Center,
turn.
the San Diego altimeter, 3005.
All right, let's think about turning here to like 149 maybe. So we set that in our heading mode.
So got departure, Legacy 8470 Fox, number 1 at 24 at cable 8 for departure.
See how we roll out. We should be on about a 1-4.
Alright, 47 Juliet Fox,
7.
sharp release for departure clearance void. Not off in 3 minutes. Not off in 3 minutes. Advise intentions this frequency not later than 10 minutes. Change to advise frequency approved. Release void if not in 3 minutes. If we can, 12 channels in 10. Talk to you shortly. 7 Juliet Fox.
United 990, can I confirm that handoff frequency?
Yeah, 990, 128.6.
128.6, United 990.
United 1180, the Las Vegas Airport, 9 o'clock, 5 miles port inside.
Insight, United 1180.
Now 1180, clear visual approach, runway 26 left, report turning final.
All right, we got to get the rest of the weather here.
Clear visual 26 left, report turning final, United 1180.
Localizer and RNAV runway 27 approach in use. VFR departures, contact, clearance, delivery. Advise on course heading.
990 Los Angeles, climbing tank level
Flight
230.
following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information kilo. San Diego International Bird Field, 8 information kilo. 0051 Zulu. Wind 290 at 8. Visibility 10.
Approach,
3,300 request. Ceiling 3,700 broken. Temperature 18. Dew point 12. Altimeter 30.
I have San Bernardino Zulu,
All right.
and I'd like to get ILS
3,700 broken. That's 3,700 above the field level.
And after El Toro,
That's 3,700.
Okay, 5,000 after El Toro, 6233 Golf.
So I'm going to descend right now to 5,500 before I bust the Bravo, because I haven't been cleared into the Bravo airspace yet.
Okay, departure Legacy 847 Juliet Foxtrot, about a mile west of cable, 2,800 for 4. 47 Juliet Foxtrot, still got departure right down. I did, 7 Juliet Foxtrot.
Again, I'll give my disclaimer for those of you who are new here.
Contact 2 miles east of Pomona.
I ignore the
7 Juliet Fox, right? Do you have step 3000?
cloud clearance requirements on these flights because I could turn the clouds off just as easily. I'm going to slow down during this descent and slightly enriching as we go.
133.2.
I'm descending because I need to get under the Bravo up here before I bust it. And if I could get under the cloud layer, that would be great as well.
United 990 Los Angeles Center, climb maintain, flight level 340. Standby 232, contact appointment group approach 124.7.
I'm hoping he's going to give me a Bravo clearance here soon.
Skyhawk, can you repeat the frequency, please?
24.7.
124.7, Skyhawk 222, thank you.
United 180, contact SoCal approach 124.35.
United 1180 is starting our turn towards the airport.
SoCal 928 Lima Sierra at 2,600,
Stop,
climbing to
stop.
9,500.
One Migu approach, Skyhawk 75222 at 3,000.
75232, point Migu approach, Oxnard altimeter 3001.
3001, Skyhawk 322.
SoCal approach, United 180, 12,500, we have KRAL. United 180, SoCal approach, cleared localizer, only 27 approach, San Diego altimeter 3005. Cleared localizer 27 approach and 05 for United 180. For the aircraft calling, go ahead.
That might have been United 1180. We're starting our turn to final. In fact, we're almost established now.
United 1180, roger. Our 7 Juliet Foxtrot, fly heading 250, join the Paradise 270 radio, resume on navigation. 250, join the Paradise 270 radio on course, 7 Juliet Foxtrot. And you should pretty much turn directly to intercept. Roger. 1126 Alpha, Lake Havasu, altimeter 2983. Country 9935.
All right, let's check a checklist real quick. Fuel selectors on both. Engine looks good. We get our heading indicator set up. Altimeter is set just now. Radios are set. Autopilot's running for now. We'll enrich it on our way down. We want to approach 65 to 70 or so on approach. I'm going to need a Bravo clearance here pretty soon. I'll let him know I have Kilo at San Diego. And 3852 Lima, we have information Kilo at San Diego.
Thank you.
So I got a decision to make.
Maintain VFR 5,500.
VFR at 5,500, and can I get a Bravo clearance?
If you stay at 5,500 in Mission Bay there, you won't need one. And we don't want to give it to you to keep you from going south of Mission Bay there, so just remain outside Bravo.
52 Lima, roger.
Los Angeles departure church, Skyhawk 734 Alpha uniform, 2000 climbing 2,500.
734 Alpha uniform, SoCal departure. Cancel out 2 restrictions, you're ready to contact.
Roger, 734 Alpha uniform.
Sun Country 9935, do you have it all dialed in? Sun Country 9935, roger. Contact Los Angeles Center 134.65. United 1180, contact Las Vegas Tower 119.9.
19.9 or United 1180?
Sun Country 9935, Los Angeles Center, cross Clyde, maintain 13,000, Las Vegas, altimeter 2981. Sub 232, contact Camarillo Tower 128.2, squawk VFR.
128.2 VFR, Skyhawk 222, good night.
Or 928 Lima Sierra. Air 928 Lima Sierra. 928 Lima Sierra. Air 928 Lima Sierra, SoCal departure, you're leaving tourist airspace. I assume you don't want flight following, correct? That is correct. I don't need flight following, thank you. Right. There 52 Lima. I'm not sure what you're doing there. I think you're confused there. That airspace right there along the coastline is from 1,800 to 3,200 feet, and then from 6,800 to 10,000 feet. It's cut out for 35 and 55 or 45 and 65. That's Class Echo. You can continue southbound through there along the coastline until you get to Mission Bay. South of Mission Bay is it's a little different.
Roger, I see that now on my chart. I was actually circling to call you. Thanks for that clarification, 52 Lima. So, okay, that's interesting. So I need to be basically from here on a heading of 150-ish. So I'll show you this on the chart. What's interesting. Once we roll out here on course. All right, there's on course. So
Let's see, Mike Echo Live for cancellation receipt. Have a good day.
here's the note: 18 to 3,200 and 68 to 10,000. This is, it's cut out just for this purpose, for getting a VFR aircraft through here. I see that. That's good clarification. I was unsure of that. So hopefully, when we get up here, we'll get a break in the clouds. So I'm going to have to start a descent, though, at some point.
SoCal 705. I've got the ATIS, I think there's a uniform there. Look at the flight localizer 24, vectors available. Seven Juliet Foxtrot, roger. Contact SoCal approach 128.1. 181, 7 Juliet Fox. SoCal approach, Canadian Legacy 847 Juliet Fox, 4,000 with ATIS uniform. 847 Juliet Foxtrot, SoCal approach, turn left heading 0.
I am going to start a descent.
0. Vector localizer 124 approach. The altimeter, John altimeter 3001.
I'd like to get down to 3,500.
26 Alpha radar source terminates squawk 34 for exchange proof. No, affirmative. United 180 contact Limburg Tower 118.3, we'll see ya.
Over Limburg Tower 18.3, we'll see you. Good night. 180.
United 990, roger. 52 Lima, clear to Bravo airspace 5,500 or below. Fly heading 120 for sequence.
Heading 120 and VFR at or below 5,500, 385 to Lima.
33 Golf, contact SoCal approach 135.4.
35-4, 6233 Golf.
All right, so
Sun Country 9935, contact Las Vegas approach 1.
we're on a 120 heading.
0.9.
It's now we're on a 120 heading.
15,000 for 13,000.
Sun Country 9935, Las Vegas approach. Say airspeed.
$99.35, stand by one. Oh, $99.35, sorry about that, we're a little fast, let's go to the next step.
Sun Country 9935. Roger. Expect the visual approach runway 26 left, altimeter 2981.
Alright, expect the visual 26 left, 99.35, thanks.
SoCal approach, Bonanza 6233 Golf, 5,000.
And 6233 Golf, SoCal approach. Turn. Flight heading 030, descend and maintain 4,300, vector ILS runway 6 approach.
All right, landing lights on.
030, descend and maintain 4,300 ILS 6 approach, Bonanza 6233 Golf.
4 Alpha uniform contact, SoCal approach 128.1.
Over SoCal approach on 128.1, 4 off uniform.
We'll get down to 35.
5 to Lima, maintain VFR 3,500.
3,500, 5 to Lima. So let's get down to 3,500 for him. Continue to enrich
SoCal
it.
approach, Skyhawk 734 Alpha uniform, level 3,500.
For 5 Lima, traffic is 1 o'clock and 5 miles. A320 on the final for Limburg down there at, he's down at 700 feet now. He's preceding you, caution wake turbulence.
Okay, we're looking 5 to Lima, thanks.
Bonanza 6233 Golf, did you want that altitude 4,300 or 4,000?
33 Golf, 4,300.
Got it, thanks.
All right, we got about 300, 400 feet to go. 300 feet to go.
Golf. 6 miles from Sudoc, maintain 4,003, correction, maintain 3,400 to establish localized cleared ILS, runway 6 approach.
3,400 till established, cleared ILS 6 approach, 6233 Golf.
Here is 3,500. We're mixture's rich.
Sun Country 9935, that's correct, unless you have another request.
No, that's not bad, that's just making sure, 9935.
5 Lima, contact Limburg Tower 118.3.
118.3, 5 to Lima. San Diego Tower, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, 3,500.
Number 3852 Lima, Lindbergh Tower, report right base, runway 27.
All right, right base will report for runway 27, 3852 Lima.
Number 52 Lima, resume my navigation.
Resume on nav 52 Lima. All right, let's turn the autopilot off. Let's go ahead and descend.
Retreat Mike Zulu, runway 29, clear flight.
Get slowed down. Start making a descending right-hand turn here. Put the heading bug on 270. This would be reasonable heading for a right base for 27. We're going to have to get slowed down. I see the airport up ahead.
Air 52 Lima, runway 27, clear to land, wind 3008.
Cleared to land, runway 27, 3852 Lima. All right. It's we are way fast. Oh, there's 27. Wow, crisp. Man, oh man. All right, first notch flaps. And we're going to have to slip this a lot.
Santa Monica Tower, Skyhawk, November 14 Kilo Echo, holding short 21 at Bravo 5, ready for departure.
Air 14 Kilo Echo, Santa Monica Tower, wind 220 at 9, runway 21, clear for takeoff.
21 cleared for takeoff, 4 Kilo Echo.
Golden Tower, good evening, Legacy 8470 Fox, localizer 24.
Legacy 8470 Juliet Foxtrot, Fullerton Tower, wind variable 5, runway 24, clear land.
Clear land, runway 24, Legacy 70 Foxtrot.
I don't know.
St. Louis Tower, 7.
We're going to be able to get this in.
Calling St. Louis Tower, your transmission cut off.
St. Louis Tower, apologies. Cessna, November 172, Charlie Mike, with information Tango, request. Sorry, inbound 6 miles south.
This is a pretty aggressive slip.
Thank you. Join the left base, runway 29, report final.
November 172, Charlie Mike, join left base. Could you repeat
Pretty
the
exciting though.
Charlie
All right.
Mike, report established.
Now it's a super long runway, so we got all kind of time. We can even dump our flaps in.
Runway 29 at Foxtrot, ready to taxi, back to parking.
Richard Mike Zulu, taxi to park area Alpha, password cap 3.
Taxi via Alpha, 0 Mike Zulu.
I have no idea where I want to be here.
Air 52 Lima, are you parking north or south side?
South side, 52 Lima.
Air 52 Lima, taxi to park area left to your choice, and Bravo to the ramp, have a wonderful.
All right, we're off of Bravo 7 and Bravo to the ramp for 52 Lima. Good night. All right.
4 Kilo Echo, contact for departure.
4 Kilo Echo, contact departure.
I say we just park it right over here. That was complete unawareness of where the runway was.
Oh, 4 Kilo Echo, still with tower.
All right, stand by. We'll record this. I have to record this flight in to get credit for the alphabet challenge. Although I shouldn't get any credit for that. That was embarrassing. We made it. It was a heck of a slip. Thanks for watching.